Hi everyone, it's Jaden. Welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the very simple and effective three-step process that I came up with to deal with panic attacks and adrenaline rushes and also anxiety attacks. So, little brief history. About 2.5 years ago, I hit a major health issue imbalance and had to do with my hormones. I was going through certain health imbalance conditions known such as adrenal fatigue, HPA axis dysfunction, that were caused by a prolonged chronic stress lifestyle. I was also experiencing major anxiety disorder and panic attacks that were both physically induced and also psychologically induced from stress and just like overwhelming anxiety. So at the time, at the peak of this health imbalance, I was experiencing about like 5 to 10 panic attacks a day. I felt like back then I was either in one, coming out of one, or about to go into one. I had them during the night as well, like when I was sleeping, like nocturnal panic attacks. So I have a lot of experience dealing with them. And good news is, for those of you that don't know or new to my channel, I am fully recovered now from this health imbalance now like over 10 months. And I've done tons of videos about it, came up with concepts on my health crash recovery journey. I broke it down in phases, and I even have my own Facebook group that is such a support for this type of health issue and optimizing your health. Check all that out. It will be down in the description box. Today I will just be focusing on something I came up with, a mental emotional process, so to speak, that I came up with to deal with the onset of panic attacks and to help me kind of move through them eventually. Because I'd found that for myself, the typical recommendations like, oh, relax, breathe, just it didn't work for me enough. I'm sure it will help some people, but to the degree I was having them and just my own experience with it, just telling myself to relax when it's happening was not working, if not making it worse. So because I was going through it so much and I had to come up with something, I had to research, I had to just like tap into myself and just by trial and error figure out like what worked to go through these smoothly, and also kind of transition myself out of them and lessen them as time went along on my recovery journey. So I will just jump right into it. Before I start sharing this process with you, again, I always have to state my disclaimer. I'm not a medical doctor, nurse, or therapist, just here sharing my experience to help you on your own research journey and your own health recovery journey if you're going through one. And I highly recommend you to always check in with your medical professional, your own therapist, before taking on any health advice. Let's get into this process. So it's very simple. The first part of the process, when you are experiencing the panic attacks or adrenaline rushes or anxiety attacks. Now, these three things are pretty close. They're not the exact same symptom, but they're like within the same family. They're all like you're in a fight or flight mode, your mind's racing, you've got heart palpitations, you're feeling unease, you've got this impending doom. It also can trigger just a slew of like endless amount of anxiety-related symptoms, stress-related symptoms. So check out my other videos for that. This one's just on these three. So the onset of any of these, that when you're feeling that fight or flight, that impending doom, that panic, as weird as it sounds, let it happen. Don't push against it. That's process number one. That's like the first step. Because I found that when I would search for like relief or search for what to do, or in the midst of that panic more to find way out of the panic, I was just really playing into the panic. So what I learned was the first thing I had to do was just to let it happen, be an observer. I say this all the time in my Facebook group when people ask me this process. It's like you just have to be a watcher of this experience as it's happening. Because resisting against it, pushing against it, trying to claw your way out of it is just adding to more panic and stress. So first thing, let it happen, don't resist, surrender to it, and be a observer of it. Don't try to come up with solutions, don't go into more analyzing, just watch yourself in this state and let it be. Don't judge it, don't start thinking this is going to last forever. Like, just calm your mind, be present, watch it. Okay, inside your mind, watch this experience. So that's the first step. Second step is kind of the longer step of the three, is that a lot of these, self-help stuff that you'll research, it's about relaxation. But what I found was when you are in panic and you tell yourself to relax, you're literally jumping from one end of the spectrum of emotional scale to the other extreme. So you're going from like panic to relax. It's just not doable. At least for me, it was not doable. It's almost to me like you're going 100 miles an hour and you just come to a sudden stop. That, to me, that never worked. In fact, when I would like be in a panic attack or having anxiety, massive anxiety attack, or having that adrenaline rush surge symptom, and I try to calm down, like a meditation or even just like sit still, whatever. In that moment, it's too big of a jump. I found that to trigger even more anxiety because you're gonna panic about not being able to just stop cold turkey. It's a very harsh, if you think about it, it's very harsh on your system to go from fight or flight to, serene. It's too big of a jump. That's why it didn't work for me. So my second recommendation or second step is you gotta gradually go up the emotional scale. So you're in panic, so you're in one extreme, right? So you need to find the next, like, just slightly improvement from the panic. So what I did was I would find a thought that I was still, let's say, for the lack of a better term, like struggling. So like in panic mode, I'm struggling, right? So I'd find a thought that was like a little bit less than full on panic. So I would think of stuff like, wow, this is, pretty bad right now. So I would go from, oh my God, what am I gonna do, to, wow, this is really bad right now. I'm letting this happen. I'm watching myself going through this. Wow, my heart's racing. This is pretty bad. This is intense. Okay? So that is a small step. So you can psychologically, it's easier to like transition because that's not a huge jump. That's just like panic to little bit less panic. So then as I get myself moving in that direction, the next thing I would say, these are examples, right? So you just come up with what kind of resonates with you in this scale for you. But for me, I would say, okay, I had this last night, it went away. It is really intense, but I did have it last night, it went away. So that's, again, now moving towards more of the direction you want. And then I would think, well, there's nothing I can do right now to fully stop it. And that's okay. Because it happened last night, it didn't kill me. I've gotten checked by the doctor. I don't have anything serious going on. It is stress and anxiety based. And it is happening. So I'm still not forcing myself to be okay with it or like just be calm and relax. I just kind of let myself still be in that panic mode, but a little bit better. Then, I spend time in that. Then I gradually move up the scale. And then I say, it's actually kind of hilarious that there's really nothing going on, but I feel like I'm being chased by a lion. But this feeling is really awful. So I bring a little bit of humor and comedy to it within myself. Just a little bit. Not too big of a jump. It's like working out. It's like you're warming yourself up to move through it. And so on and so on. You will see that if you do it this way, you don't have that like, I'm in a panic. I gotta stop. Doesn't work. So you've got this gradual transition, right? So as I work through the humor, then I will start to feel the relief come. I will say, yeah, it did I did recover it from it. And when I do recover, it almost seems like nothing's ever wrong again. It's funny how that works, even though it's like really bad when I'm experiencing it. And I could see, when you get to there, it's almost like the midway, you start to feel like your symptoms naturally kind of calm down. You don't have as intense of heart palpitations. You're kind of like relaxing into all the sensations of panic that you're having. At least that's what my experience with this process was. Then I slowly, again, move towards more relaxation. It's okay. I am feeling a little bit more calm now. I can actually take a deep breath. And I'm just still here. And I can sense that my symptoms are calming down. Then it's gradual. Then you move, again, gradually towards okay, now I'm relaxed. Okay, now I can take a deep breath. Yeah, I think it passed this time. Wow, what an experience. It'll probably happen again because I'm in the midst of this health imbalance, this anxiety disorder that I'm gradually moving myself through. And it's okay. If it does happen again, I know how to deal with it. So then as I continue to pep talk myself back into the better end of the emotional scale, and I can actually, so I've gradually moved into relaxation. So when you do it that way, it's not extreme, it's gradual, and you don't have that reaction from one end to the other end of extremes. So then we move into the third step, which is once you calm down and relax, you need to give yourself time to rest. Obviously, don't do anything that's exciting or too intense of emotions. Stay in the relaxation. You've just did work internally to move yourself into this better relaxed place. Stay there. Don't jump into the next thing. Just kind of let yourself recharge. Because panic attacks and adrenaline rushes and anxiety attacks, it's your body being in chronic fight or flight. It is harsh. It is draining. You want to replenish yourself. Follow up with rest, follow up with food, hydrate, because your body is actually it's almost like you're doing a workout, without actually working out, you're just heart's beating. So you will be drained. So replenish yourself, rest. And if you're going through what I'm going through, you have to be prepared in the beginning stages that it will happen repeatedly. And the better you are at going through this process, the faster your subconscious is going to catch up to this. Everything is actually okay. And once your subconscious catch up, you will find that you're having less and less and less panic attacks and major anxiety attacks, less adrenaline rushes, because it is your body that moves into a state of rest and digest versus fight or flight. And that before that happens, before your subconscious actually moves there, you will find that people get really tripped up because they feel well, I've been improving myself. Why is this still happening? Well, consciously you've been improving yourself, but subconsciously you need more time to catch up. And so you use the conscious choices to lead the subconscious into that more overall relaxed state, that parasympathetic nervous system versus the sympathetic nervous system, which is just panic. So it takes time, guys. It's not an overnight thing, but this was the process that really helped me. It does take practice and it does take consistency, but with this, I found myself eventually moving past that stage. There are more stages of the recovering from the health imbalance I experienced, but this was a major part of it. I thought that I shared this with you. It is a very helpful tip for myself that I found through my journey, and I hope that if you try it out and it works, that would be really awesome. Leave me a comment if you tried it and it did help you. Also let me know what you think. If you guys also have tips on how to get through panic attacks, share them down below in the comment section. Again, always check with your doctor first. Don't listen to me. Make sure you listen to your doctor, and just take what I'm sharing as my experience and information for your research. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.
you want.